You're listening to the Deadly Uncle Podcast,
a safe space for deadly uncle conversations.
Next up, we have Darrell Brertton Jr.
All the way from Satellite Cree Nation.
This man is an entrepreneur. He has an app that connects the chief and council to the community, where he has sold many of these to different nations all over Turtle Island.
Yeah, we talk a little bit with Darrell about his journey, so stick around. It's going to be a great episode.
Perform work for like River Cree Security and like fire, ambulance, police, like even like here with the city of Edmonton and like RCMP too.
Wow.
Like suits like that, like just uniforms.
That's amazing, dude.
And yeah, she has like I think 3 locations, and then she also does Bridal Fantasy too. So like she started that and founded that, and that's pretty big too.
Wow.
I never been to a Bridal Fantasy expo kind of thing when they have it there. But it's pretty big from my understanding. Like lots of women go there and they check it out. They get to see everything. So the whole reason how we became associated was through my ex Starly, because Starly was doing brows and Bridal Fantasy. Just I forget what they were doing, but it was a project in regards to things that every bride should do before their wedding day or something like that. And I was like worried about your eyebrows falling off. Well, we'll get them tattooed on. You don't have to worry about that, like on your wedding day or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just like promoting like different stuff in the beauty industry that brides can do and bridesmaids and stuff. So then I'm a very supportive person, whether you're my partner or not. Like I'll support you. Like I'm here right now, and just want to support you and support like this that you have going on.
For sure.
The Deadly Uncle podcast.
Yeah, the Deadly Uncles podcast. Yeah.
And then, so they were like, she was resharing on her Instagram story, like what they tagged her in. So then I followed like Bridal Fantasy Canada. I followed like the other like photographers that were there, videographers. Followed them, swiped up on their stories, like heart eyes, flames, liked a few of their photos, like on their Instagram feed. And then from there, that's when I got a message from Gay Dirk, and she sent me like this long paragraph, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, thank you for the support and all the love. I was just wondering, like, what do you do? Like, I'm checking your profile out, and I see that, like, you're, like, a model, and I see that, like, you're also an entrepreneur, and you do business, and I also see that you trade, and you're, like, investing or whatever. Like, what do you all do? I would love to, like, get to know you more, and, also like collaborate together, and maybe you can model for me and like in my suits. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. So that's how
amazing.
So that's how we became associated back in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
that's so cool, man.
Yeah, and then this past July, that's when she reached out to me, and she's like, hey, like I want to do. At first it was like, hey, I want to do a shoot with you and Starly, and I was like, unfortunately, me and her aren't together anymore, but I'd be more than happy to be the male model. So then she's like, okay, no worries, yeah, I would definitely want you. So like, I don't know, just creating that relationship, especially with someone like her.
Yeah. That's
like so successful and does many things. And, yeah.
No, that's really amazing, man. And you know, congratulations on all that, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's so good to see what you're doing, you know, like honestly. So I think we'll just get going. We might as well just get going here. I mean, so tell me a little bit about who you are, where you come from, you know, a little bit about your past as a childhood, where you grew up, and who you are now. Tell us who you are. And then I'll edit this. So just once in a while, look at the camera. So this camera and that camera there, just give it a glance once in a while, just because it'll be like the audience that's you're looking at. So,
okay.
Yeah. You don't have to stare at it, but once in a while.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Alright. So for all the Deadly Uncle podcast listeners and viewers, if you're watching this through a video instead of listening through audio, my name is Darrell Brertton Jr. I'm from Satellite Cree Nation. I'm 23 years old. I'm a young father. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I'm also an investor as well. And I'm also a performer as well. I dance men's fancy, travel all over, perform all over. And I guess you could say now I'm a speaker as well. and I will get hired to come and do inspirational, motivational talks for different communities, and not only that, but different schools, and not only that, but also like different businesses as well. And I just want to like know more about my story and like how I've like leveled up over the years. So I grew up in the city of Edmonton my whole life. My mother and father, they split when I was like 3 months old, so we left the res and went back to the city of Edmonton. And then like growing up in the city, I was like literally like always like either the only native or like 1 out of 4 natives like in the school, like in elementary or junior high or high school and stuff like that. So I've always kind of stood out, I guess you could say, in that regard. And then not only that, but like when you go back to the res and you try to connect with your family and stuff like that, they think that you're an apple, red on the outside, white on the inside, stuff like that. So kind of didn't have too good of a relationship, but still made it work, still made it happen. And then in grade 11, when I was in high school, that's when I found out I was going to be a freaking daddy.
Oh, wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, I was 17 years old at the time.
You know what? I was 16.
You were 16?
Yeah, I was 16, so
damn.
I can relate to you. My son's probably about your age. I won't say.
Damn. So like, yeah, 17 years old in high school, and then found I was going to be a daddy. And then from there, like, it's either, like for me, I don't know why. I think I got it from my mother. I definitely probably got it from my mother because like my father was in my life. But like just to like keep pushing forward, keep moving forward. So like even though I'm having a baby, I'm still a baby myself at the time. Like my mom, she wasn't too happy or pleased at all.
Yeah.
And like if you know my mom, and like for any viewers that know my mom, you know my mom. But yeah, like she was not happy, she was not pleased, and like initially she's like, can you press pause? Can you just wait? Can you like just wait till you're done university? Wait till you're done high school? Like you don't even have a career, you don't even have a job, you don't even have your own place and stuff like that. And like just being a mother, like a mother should be.
Yes.
And but yeah, that wasn't the case with the in-laws. They were like happy, and they definitely did not want to press pause, which is understandable, and that's the decision that we all made. And then from there, like decided to just provide for my family the best that I could, even though I was like still like a young buck in high school. So the second semester, that's actually like I was going to school, but then like it just wasn't the same. Like I literally have like a 2-month-old baby at home. Like it's like February now, like the second semester starting, and I have like a 2-month-old baby at home, and then meanwhile like the kid beside me in class is like, damn, my mom didn't pack me this for my lunch.
Yeah.
It's like okay. Because as soon as he was born in December, like 2 weeks later, we moved out into our own place for the beginning of 2017. And then, yeah, started off from the bottom, like had nothing in our little 1-bedroom apartment, and like no TV, no couch, nothing. And like, yeah, started from the legit bottom. That was scary. That was weird. That was like a lot of growth going there. That's also lonely too. Like it was just like a lot. Also the baby blues too. Like once you're like, when the baby's in the womb, in the tummy, in the belly, it's completely different when the baby's in your hands. You know, especially if it's your baby, right? And it's just like kind of surreal. Like it doesn't feel real. Like life, your world doesn't feel real because like you have this child now. Like it just kind of like hits you, I guess. Yeah. Even though it was like literally growing this whole 9 months, but like it never hit you like that until like you're holding your baby in your hands. So anyways, just like kept pushing through, and at the time I was hustling door-to-door sales, selling boxes of cookies.
Really?
Like a Girl Scout, yeah.
Wow.
Like a Girl Scout. And I was making bank for a high school student. I literally like put in maybe like 3 hours, and in those 3 hours I'd be like bringing home like 200, 250, 290. And like for people that like have jobs, especially like high school students, like now it's like $15 an hour. So like three hours of work, you'd get $45. But like meanwhile, I was like clocking in like 190, 200, 250, and it was just based off the work that I was putting in, and the sales that I got. And and then also too, I had a team as well. Okay. Like at first I was just doing it on my own, because the owner liked me, and then there's some conflict between me and the driver. So the driver told the owner that I quit, and then the owner's like, "What? Like, you're one of my best guys. Like, you're not quitting." He's like, "Just work on your own. Just drive your own vehicle. Is that okay? You'll get paid more per sale or whatever." And then from there, he started like sending me like one person to work with, like one crew member, then like another crew member, and it's pretty legit. So like the drivers, so our boxes of cookies were $20, and those boxes of cookies, out of the $20, $10 went to the vehicle. So like $10 went to the driver.
Okay.
And then the crew members, their commission was $7 a box, and then that $7 box, or the $7 that they get, $3 of that goes to the driver, because that driver picks you up, drops you off, makes sure you has a debit machine, makes sure you have like the receipts if you ran out, or make sure like you have to use the washroom, picks you up, take you to the washroom and stuff like that. So like every box that one of my crew members sold was like $3 in my pocket. So like if a crew member did like 10 boxes, that was like an extra $30.
On top of the sales.
On top of mine, yeah. And then like, so it's just one person, and then 2 people, and then 3 people, and then before I know it, I have 4 people in my vehicle, and then and then like just like helping them, like kind of training them, like how, like what I look for, like reading body language and stuff like that. At first, like I remember my first night door knocking. It was something else. I was scared. I was nervous. I was uncomfortable.
I can't imagine, because like when most people knock at your door, you know, you're not expecting somebody to be knocking at your door. So right away there's like, oh, who's at the door? And then especially if you have dogs and everything, now the dogs are barking. What if there's a baby? So there's a lot of things.
Baby sleeping, you woke the baby up. Oh my gosh.
A lot of things to expect. You know, I can't imagine doing that style of work, man. Wow.
Yeah, for real. So like door knocking, door-to-door sales, very, very beneficial, because you learn a lot, like not only about like sales, but like about yourself. Like, are you willing to continue to keep knocking, or do you get discouraged when you get the door slammed in your face, or when they literally have their lights on and their windows open, and then they see that you're knocking, you rang the doorbell, they shut off the lights and then close the curtains.
Yeah.
Like are you gonna get butthurt about that, or are you gonna just continue off to the next door? You know?
Gives you tough skin.
Yeah, it does. Definitely does. Definitely gave me some tough skin for sure. And not only that, but like reading people's body language. And then my mother, she's like very intellectual, spiritual energy, stuff like that. So for me, like I was able to kind of like start picking up on people's energies and their vibe, and that kind of goes hand in hand with their body language. Yeah. So like after like the first 10 seconds, like, "Hi, my name's Darrell. I'm here with the Old Strathcona Youth Society, and we're just in your neighborhood this evening, fundraising," or whatever the spiel was. And like after like the first sentence or two, I could feel them, and then eventually I just got to a point like in my door-to-door career where I would literally just like shut up and like walk to the next house. Yeah. Because I knew they weren't interested. Yeah. Because there's been so many times where I would literally do like the whole like 1 minute, 2 minute kind of spiel. Yeah. And then they're just like, "No, thank you." Like they're just waiting for me to say no, thank you. Yeah. They're waiting for a pause, right? Yeah. Yeah. So like if I felt their energy, I kind of just said like, I would just literally pause like mid-sentence and I'd be like, "All right, no worries, have a good night," and then like just turn around and go. And like I was like quick like that, and it would actually help me sell more, because I'd focus my time and energy on the ones that were actually interested to hear like, why am I here, why am I door knocking, why am I fundraising, why am I selling a $20 box of cookies and stuff like that. So I eventually left that job, and then I started working construction. And the type of construction work that I did was like screw piles. Okay. And that's like for foundation of like a building. And typically you'll see screw piles like in the northern communities that kind of have like permafrost and stuff. Okay. Because they can't really like dig into the ground or whatever, because, well, they can dig into the ground, but like the foundation, they can't like put their house or their pipes like in the ground because permafrost. So like you like install like it's like a big screw, and then like from there you can like weld a plate on it, weld rebar, and then like you can like put concrete cement, then you can like start building the foundation of whatever it is, school, gymnasium, freaking fire hall, houses, whatever, right? So that's the type of construction work that I did, and we were working at this one oil field, as Enbridge site in Saskatchewan, and then that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Yeah, I learned a lot, eh?
Learned a lot, and I literally going from the door-to-door sales job to that, like kind of just like doubled.
Completely different style, right? Was
Yeah.
it like totally different work, right?
Yeah, totally different work. And
Which one did you find? I mean, like, always construction is definitely usually like,
Yeah.
you know, lifting and lots of long hours and stuff.
Yeah.
What was the difference did you find in the two different styles of job?
Now that I'm thinking about it, because I never thought of it, the difference. I'm just trying to think of the one that like stood out the most to me. So I would say like the routine, going from like 3 hours to 12.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, for real.
But with that being said, also like kind of doubled the money.
Double the money.
Yeah. And
there's this sense
and also
of,
less stress too.
okay. Yeah.
Because sales, you don't know, like you could literally like do everything that you're supposed to do in the book. You could like have the right energy, you can have like the right tone, the right pitch, and the right spiel, and like the eye contact and everything. But then like, I don't know, it's just one of those days where you still won't hit your goal. Like maybe your target's like 10. So like my target was 10, like at least $100 on my own, plus like all my crew members. And so yeah, like if I didn't hit my target, like it wasn't like I did anything wrong. It was just like that energy, that vibe in that neighborhood, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say.
Yeah.
So there's like different factors.
Sales,
but like for this construction job, like that was less stressful. And like, yeah, just routine. Wake up, go to work for 12 hours a day, go back to the hotel, wake up again, do it all over again. You know. Yeah.
Well, I just gotta, like, I want to ask you because I do see that you proudly wear your hair long.
Yeah.
You have a braid, which is awesome. You know, definitely support that. Did you always have your hair long when you were younger, or when did you start growing your hair?
So I started growing my hair when I was, I want to say, grade 3 is the last time that I had a haircut.
Wow.
Grade 4, I had like the Justin Bieber like skater hair.
Okay.
And then grade 5 is like when it was long enough to like put into a braid. And initially, like I've always saw like being a power dancer, like other men also having long hair and braids, 2 braids, Cree braids, all the different types of braids. And then from there, for me, like being a young like junior boy and kind of like seeing these older men and like teenagers and like even like young boys like my age also have long hair too, like it made me want to have long hair.
That's awesome.
Like it made me want to have long hair so I could fit in like in the power circle. And so yeah, like I initially grew my hair like so I could wear it like 2 braids for when I'm dancing on the dance floor.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about your dance. You haven't talked to us about what style you dance and all those things. Talk to us about that.
So if you don't know who I am and you don't follow me on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook at Darrell Brertton JR, I'm a men's fancy bustle dancer. I've been dancing my whole life, and my mother even tells me stories that I was dancing before I was even born.
Wow.
Because she explains that like the heartbeat is the same as the drum beat, and they say that the drum beat it symbolizes Mother Earth's heartbeat. So like it kind of goes like hand in hand, vice versa. So like hearing her heartbeat, being in her womb, in her belly, I was already like moving around, kicking her rib cages and stuff like that. So I was already feeling the beat. I was already like dancing inside of her. And so then now that I'm like born into the physical world and like I hear that drum beat again, like I can see it. Like some children, they just don't want to do it, but some children, like they're just, it's like they're a magnet. Like that drum beat like just pulls them towards it, right? Like there's some children that will literally go out on the dance floor and just start bouncing.
Yeah, hey, without it, yeah.
And there's some children that are just like, and they're kind of scared.
They get scared of it, yeah.
Yeah, and they like go the other way. So like for me, I guess I was the child, the little boy that like would go out there and just like start bouncing and stuff. And especially like my mother being a pow dancer, I was kind of like born into that, like the powwow trail, the powwow circle. But I will explain this to the listeners and the viewers. my mother didn't know she was First Nation until she was 17 years old in high school. And that's when she started to learn about our First Nation culture and our First Nation people. And then that's when she got in touch with an elder. And she was going to school in Grand Prairie in Alberta here, Treaty 8 territory. And then from there, she got in touch with their elder that was working in that school system. And that elder was actually from Treaty 7 territory, a Blackfoot woman. And Loretta English, she taught my mother everything that she knows. And like taught her how to make her own regalia, taught her like how to dance and stuff like that. Then they would kind of do little dance performances throughout the different schools in the school system. That's amazing. Yeah, honestly.
I know Loretta as well. Yeah, I know the English family very well, and that's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Like even myself, you know, it's wild that you bring that up, and it's such a small world because I know your mom very well as well. Yeah. The Blackfoot community that I was involved with over there taught me how to hug, if you can believe that.
Really?
Because both my heart to heart, also just a hug, because you know we had a residential school open on my reserve in 1996, so we're still healing, we're still learning how to have that physical contact and show feelings as men. In my community, especially in George Gordon's First Nation. So literally, my parents didn't know how to hug because both of them went to residential schools, right? So once I came familiar with one of the Blackfoot community members, I noticed that when they left each other, all the time they hugged, right? Every time they left, like to go somewhere, they would hug, right? And I just found that so interesting and wild, but it's interesting how, you know, because I'm not Blackfoot, but I learned a lot from the Blackfoot people. Like, so it's really interesting to know that, you know, we take care of each other in our communities, you know, and you having your long hair and doing your dancing and everything on TikTok and stuff, I know that you're inspiring other young people just like the older men inspired you.
Yeah.
So that's really amazing to do that. Did you find it, like, you know, you said you went to school, you know, inside the cities. Did you find it, and you said you always stood out, right? So did you find it, talk to me about that, having a braid and going to a regular school.
So like even like our little First Nation boys, like that have short hair, like a bully's a bully, and they'll still bully the other First Nation boy that has long hair, even though they're both First Nation. They're both they both go to school in the res. They're both brown, you know, and then it's just like they're a bully. So they're gonna obviously bully that little boy that has the long hair, right? Like, are you a girl? You look like a girl. You should cut your hair. Yeah. Or like, you should go to the girls' washroom, or you should go to the girls' change room, or whatever. Just like little kid jokes like that, or bully remarks like that. So for me, it was kind of somewhat like that, but like not too bad. I don't know if it was because like they were scared of me, like oh, Darrell beat me up. I don't want to say anything. Like going to school with like these Mooneyal kids. Yeah. So for me, like I did hear like those remarks like here and there. Yeah. But then like initially, like I wouldn't do anything or say anything. I kind of just like take it or whatever, and like tell my mom about it like after like school's over and stuff like that. But then like when I would talk to my mom about like what happened at school, or like so and so said this to me at school today, then she would kind of like go off and like explain like why that boy or that girl said that, and like what that really means. And it's like just like a reflection of themselves, and like they don't know any better, they don't know our culture, they don't know like why we grow our hair and everything like that, like all the teachings and traditions. So it's like, don't like even though they're literally belittling me, so they might be belittling you if you're a young man that's watching this or listening to this podcast and you have long hair. So even though they're literally being a bully to you and they're belittling you, don't belittle them back. Instead, like educate them. Yeah. Educate them and like explain to them like why you have long hair. And at the end of the day, like sometimes that person, that individual, especially if they're just like the cool kid and they're just trying to be cool in front of everybody else, like there's kind of no what's the word here? There's no like changing that individual, you know, like with a little education session or stuff like that.
It takes a lot more if somebody's been abused or you know grew up with you know that toxic masculinity, you know, because a lot of my uncles, you know, they didn't know how to express themselves. So how they would express themselves when they didn't know how to do it was through fighting and through fists and through using that aggression in a toxic way. And you know, it's so awesome to see this next generation. Like I can tell from, like, I can read vibes a bit as well too, and I can tell from your demeanor that you're a very calm person, you know. And that well, you know, you seem like a very calm person here today, but also you have that fire of being a fancy dancer, you know, so you have that fire within you to turn it up at any moment, you know, and you know, in a good way, right? Because we have to be able to express ourselves, I believe, as men. And we have to be able to you know, have masculinity in a safe way, because it's a part of who we are. And a lot of times, you know, I think when we show our masculinity, people right away, or passion, people right away take it as anger, you know, or as toxic masculinity. And you know, I believe that it's important for us to show that we are, you know, we have that inside of ourselves in a protective way. We protect our families. We, you know, go out and provide and work our butts off, right? Like as Indigenous men. And I believe that's what that represents. You know, it doesn't represent being tough or any of those things. You know, it represents providing and working hard and doing good for your community as well. So, you know, that's amazing. So, tell us about your app. Tell us about your latest thing. And before we do this, I just want to make a quick check just to make sure we're all good here. That looks good. We're almost done, brother. I'm going to ask you probably 2 more questions. I just want to make sure that this guy...
Let's go off. I can do like another 20, another half hour.
That's going. So what I'm gonna do is just pause that. Just restart her.
Because I was actually gonna talk about the app when you said George Gordon, because George Gordon's actually a client of mine.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like that. Is this on? This thing wants to turn now. It turned on or something.
Your gimbal or something?
I did not want you on. I just wanted you to hold this for me. There we go.
You should check the camera, because that thing's like in the way of the camera. Like behind the iPhone?
Yeah, I can see it. It looks good. It's just
good? Okay.
It's just twisted this way. We'll just go the way it wants to go. My gimbal is messing me up here, my gimbal. Okay. You want to go this way? I'm gonna force you to. That is so funny.
I wonder if it's the iPhone cord.
It is a little bit. There we go. Perfect.
Nice.
And we're going to. Now I'm trapped here, bro. Trapped. Oh, it's too funny. Yeah, if they don't fix that, my bro Trent, man, whoo, He's gonna have a climb. Do you know my bro Trent?
I think so.
He's about 6'1" and about 350 pounds.
Damn.
Yeah. He's gonna have a hell of a climb. They don't fix that thing.
Oh, the elevator.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your app. And you were saying that you did some business on my homeland there.
Yeah, so when you mentioned George Gordon First Nation, I automatically thought, like, oh, they're a client of mine. And what the app does is it's a mobile application, and it's also like a software that the administration can use to create all the notifications in-house, like all the news updates, all the events, all the jobs, all the documents, all the forms, all the surveys. So the purpose of the app, it was born in 2018, and that's when Jirfpal Cree Nation in Treaty A territory came to us with a problem. They said we have 50% of our registered population living off reserve. And our members are complaining, they feel like they're not a part of the community, they don't know what's going on, and so on and so forth. There's just lots of complaints that the communication is lacking. Mm-hmm. So then from there, the owners at the time, Mark and Sean, they put their heads together and brainstormed. They're like, hey, how can we help this nation out? What can we do for them? 2018, everyone has a smartphone, why not an app? Why not like a communication app? So Jirfpal was the very first client to use the technology. And then from there, other chiefs seeing Jirfpal's app, they're like, hey, like I want that, like the progressive ones. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want this communication tool. Hey, you know what? I want this innovation. So then from there, kind of just spread like wildfire, word of mouth referrals, which is the best way of business by referrals. Like, oh, you should go hire so-and-so. He's really good at singing. He's really good at on the guitars, like his knowledge, his teachings. And then boom, now you're just getting booked because of the value that you provide and the service that you did for that one client, right? Or that one customer, business owner, whatever, right? Organization. And then from there, in June 2021, last year, that's when they picked me up. They found me on social media. They found me on Instagram. They found me on TikTok. Well, they actually initially found me from a friend of ours, Natasha Saddleback. She referred me because they initially asked her if she could sell their app product. And then she's like, I'm going to school, I'm a mother, I don't have time. I can't do another thing. I can't juggle another thing. But you know what? I know this guy. And then thought of me. And the reason why she thought of me, like we met before, but mostly like what I'm posting on social media. So that's a key tip to all the listeners here. Like your social media can make you or break you. And just be aware of like what you're posting. Like if you're trying to be a comedian, go ahead. Post those jokes, post the dirty, dark humor. Because laughter is medicine, right? Yeah. But if you're like trying to be an entrepreneur and business owner, investor, maybe you have all these ideas, you want to work with chief and council to do something, do consulting, you want to start this project on the res, but then they check your Facebook and you just share this like real gross meme or something. Probably not.
They don't really take you seriously,
exactly, right? Exactly. Yeah. So
and that's bottom line. Everyone checks the Facebook or the TikToks and all those things for sure before they hire you. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm glad that my TikTok and Instagram is looking pretty good. And in all honesty, it wasn't before until I literally got told, just like you guys got told, to keep your social media clean back in 2019. So that's when I started to kind of be more mindful. Don't get me wrong, I'll still share like stuff that's funny or whatever, but like I'll just like kind of like think about it. Like, is this okay for like my followers, my viewers, like my investors, my clients and stuff.
Clients,
and new potential clients. Like I'll still share it, but like if it's kind of like on the edge or like on kind of on the line, then like I probably won't. Maybe I'll just share it to like you or like my other friends that are like more close circle. But other than that, like I'm not really like. I just try to keep my social media clean and just post positive, valuable content that can provide value to my followers.
There we go.
And also like the listeners, like for example, that's why you're listening to the Deadly Uncle podcast, because it provides value to the listeners. And whether you're a daddy, whether you're an uncle, whether you're a nephew, it doesn't matter. Whether you're a son, it does not matter. Whether you're a mushum, a grandpa, and you're listening to this, like it doesn't matter. Like you can learn. We can always learn each and every single day. So
you betcha. You know, they always say, the elders have always said, our youth are our biggest teachers, and you know, when we look at our young ones like yourself and you know, everybody that's involved in what's new and what's current, I think that we can learn a lot from what's going on. You know, it's kind of like a lot of the markets that we see that are happening, like the indigenous markets that we see, the IM Collective and these markets, they're starting to expand into what Winnipeg was doing quite a while back with adding music and entertainment into their markets, you know. And it's because of the young generation that made that happen, you know. And it's you know, it's always good to follow that with you with the next generation.
I want to piggyback off what you're just talking about the younger generation and like how they're our greatest teachers. So like what I do, my app, my technology, like it's really good, it's really deadly, like it's awesome. The nation loves it, whether you're leadership, administration, or a band member, on or off the res, like you love it. But what I'm kind of finding is the band members that are on reserve, especially if it's like my reserve, Satellite Cree Nation, they're a client of mine as well. And my reserve, we have a lot of dead zones for service.
Yeah.
And it's not good at all. And it kind of like makes me angry. But it only makes me angry because it's like, why the heck would Satellite pay for this technology? Meanwhile, like I couldn't even receive updates like when I was there this past summer.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? And it's not only at Saddle Lake, there's other communities as well that are also having that same like dead zone problem issue. Yeah. And with every problem, there's a solution. And when you're able to like solve people's problems and stuff like that, like universe, creator, like he'll compensate you on the back end. And whether that's good health or longevity or like finances or whatever that might be, happiness or whatever, like creator, the universe will take care of you. So that's like another thing that's on my to-do list is connectivity, because that will also like help my app do even better, because now the members will actually be able to receive the notifications even if they were in a dead zone, but now it's no longer a dead zone because we brought a telecommunication tower to the nation. And not only that, but like literally a few weeks ago in Enoch, they had a Treaty 1 to 11 gathering, right? And there was an issue there, a service issue at that arbor. And they're trying to like live stream this 1 to 11 gathering for all the other elders and chiefs and executives and band members and just people that want to follow along with what's happening with the treaties and stuff like that. What are we doing to work together? What are we doing to keep it alive? Or what's like on our hot list, to-do list, like what do we need to fight for or focus on or whatever, right? So a lot of people couldn't attend in person in Enoch, so they wanted to join on Zoom, but they couldn't even really like do the Zoom because the connection was so
it was probably like overloaded with people trying to get in and stuff as well.
Yeah,
too.
Not only that, but like the area there is like one bar. So what they ended up doing, I was just on a plane from Miami back to Edmonton, and when I connected to Calgary to fly to Edmonton, that's when I bumped into one of the Sucker Creek band member. Yeah. And he does like projects and infrastructure for the nation. And he was explaining that his cousin, I think it was, like his dad, the chief, because they were there at the 1 to 11 gathering, and they noticed that they were having that problem, the chief of Sucker Creek. So then he calls his son. He's like, hey, like your friend, he has that satellite dish, like the Wi-Fi you're telling me or whatever. And it's Elon Musk's technology, Starlink. So if you don't know what Starlink is, it's basically a dish that's like a satellite dish, but instead of cable, it connects to the satellite and it provides you internet, like high-speed internet, even if it's a dead zone. Like it's fast. So he literally drove from Sucker Creek, brought his little satellite dish, set it up at the arbor, and then boom, they were golden. They could do their Zooms and stuff. And
interesting. Yeah, wow. So like you're saying that soon there will be not so much a need for cell towers as the old thing that's happening, or would you suggest like communities invest in better cell towers for their community? What do you think's the solution there?
I would say like ASAP would be the telecommunication towers, the cell towers. Yeah. Like for example, this past August, I went to Pasqua.
It's time.
I went to Pasqua, First Nation in Saskatchewan by Fort Capel, and they literally, I don't know how long ago the project was, but within a year, I think, or 2 years minimum, they recently had a cell tower, and it's like pretty close to where the power grounds were, and like there was like full service and stuff, and you're able to go on Facebook Live, check your Instagram, check your Facebook messages, check your emails and stuff like that. Send text messages, receive text messages.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just a matter of like the list of priorities and where like the connectivity and the communication is like for the nation and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, since this is like my baby and my business, the communication apps, that's also like another project like on my mind too. Like how can I do that?
Yeah.
And
that's
guess what?
Huge.
And guess what? This past weekend while I was in Miami at this business conference, I met a gentleman from Ontario, and he does communication towers. So I have a meeting with him on Thursday to see how we can collaborate and work together to help not only for my purpose or the company's mission to fill the communication gap between administration and membership, but also to like get cell service on the res.
There's a huge gap.
Like
there.
it's 2022.
Yeah.
Like why are we still have dead zones?
I totally agree. Most of my aunties and uncles' house, they don't have internet there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have it, like, because of the bad service. Why are they going to pay the price if they're waiting for pages like for 2-3 minutes to change, and they're paying $60-$70 a month for this stuff, and
cheap.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So they need to. I totally agree. I think communities need to invest in the towers to be able to, because I mean, our cell phones are everything. They're communication. They're a form of learning.
Yeah.
They're a form of so many different things, and to have your stuff stalling at events and stuff like that, it definitely I can see why that's hugely important for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So what's the plans now in the future? Like you want to you're having this meeting on Thursday, but what is let's say your 10-year ultimate goal? What's your goal in 10 years? Or a few goals?
So one of my goals that's going to happen in the next 3 years here, I'm going to be a full-time trader. So like I'm making really good money with my
What does that mean for the listeners? What is a trader?
Okay. So there's different types of traders. You can trade in the stock market, you can trade in the foreign exchange market, you can trade in the cryptocurrency market, and there's different types of trading. So like a lot of people that like invest in like mutual funds, GICs, that's like more like long-term plays. But like these traders, there's different types of traders. There's swing traders, there's intraday traders, there's like scalpers, and all those labels just talk about what style of trading that you do. So swing traders, you have patience. You can sit on your hands and wait for that trade to play out over the next week or maybe the whole month. That's like when it like actually makes the move that you were looking at, that you're analyzing on the charts. Day trading, maybe you're in the trade for 8 hours that day or 10 hours that day. Like you place a trade in the morning, early in the morning during London session, and then maybe like kind of later in the evening during Asian session. That's when the trade actually like started to like go in your direction or hit your take profit or something. And then the scalpers, they're like in and out. So like 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, like you have to sit, you have to watch. For me, that's kind of what I like. Like I like to watch my stuff. I like to watch my money, especially if it's my money, right? Like I want to watch it. Like did it go my direction? Did I make it or whatever? But for the people that are just starting out and they have a full-time job, they're a father, they're a husband, they got all this stuff. They're an entrepreneur, they're an artist, they're a freaking podcast host now.
Yeah.
Like for someone like yourself, like swing trading would be your move, because then you could just like select that 1 hour window out of your whole schedule, and then you can like place your trades or whatever you need to do, and then like you can just go about your day. You don't have to worry, and it's just
nice.
It either moved in your direction or it didn't.
Okay.
And like you can set like take profits and stop losses. So like a stop loss is, say for example, I'm predicting that price is going to go up, and then since I'm predicting that price is going to go up, I have take profits up here, because like when price hits that take profit, then the AI system or whatever will take me out of that trade because it hit my take profit. But vice versa. So I placed a buy predicting it's going to go up, but what if it doesn't go my way? So I place a stop loss according to the money that I'm okay with losing, or okay with risking. So I place a stop loss like just below my entry. So then if it doesn't go my way and it hits my stop loss, then that's okay too.
Yeah.
And then I can go about my day, and then at the end of the day, check my trades, and it's like it either like it's doing good, hit my take profit, or hit my stop loss, or maybe it's like really close to my take profit, and then I can close the trade. So,
and how are things going for you?
How are things going for me? So, to give you an idea, this past weekend I went to Miami for this 10x business boot camp. And if you don't know who Grant Cardone is, I highly suggest that you follow him on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I believe he has a TikTok, I'm not too sure. But follow him, Grant Cardone. He's a billionaire real estate investor, and his story is pretty inspiring. He was 25 years old when he got out of treatment. He went to treatment 3 times. He was a drug addict. He like literally almost killed himself, and he could have died how many times by like the drug dealers and stuff like that when he didn't have their money. And like something about him, he lost his father when he was 10 years old, and he didn't have that father figure in his life. Like a lot of the listeners probably didn't have our father figures in their lives, or maybe they didn't have that healthy relationship because of the intergenerational trauma with the residential schools.
Yeah.
So anyways, his story is pretty inspiring because 25, third time out of treatment, that's when he like actually like, okay, like I'm not going back there. I can't go back there or else I'm gonna die. Like I'm gonna get killed, or I'm gonna like end up killing myself or whatever. So he's like, I gotta stay away from that. And then he started to switch up his environment because the other 2 times he went to treatment, as soon as he got out, same friends. So same friends, same habits. So like going out, partying, drugs, whatever, stealing, whatever, booting. So when the 3rd time he got out of treatment, he's like, okay, I can't freaking be here anymore. So he left. He removed himself from the equation, and he started like, I guess you could say, life in a different area. And the only place that would hire him is a car dealership. So he started with sales, and the reason why is because if he doesn't sell any vehicles, the car dealership doesn't have to pay him. So they're like, yeah, sure, come work for us, Grant. And the first 3 months, he sold 0, nada. He wasn't making nothing, and he was getting hungry, like at home, like starving. And so there's this one other sales guy at the dealership, like literally doing like 30 deals a month, so like 1 car a day almost.
Wow.
Which is really, really good. That's pretty crazy. And so Grant's like, what do you do, man? What do you freaking do? Like, what's your secret? And then he's like, honestly, like I invested in this sales course. It was $3,000. It taught me everything that I need to know about car sales, the language, the trigger words. Like instead of saying, can you take a look at this contract? Like, can you take a look at the paperwork? Like just like little words like that.
Yeah.
And also like body language, tonality. Like, are you loud? Are you quiet?
Yeah.
The way you say it. So there's a lot of things that you can learn about, and honestly, sales kind of goes hand in hand with like psychology and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
you know?
of course.
Persuasion and stuff. Like it's pretty. Sales is pretty cool.
You know, that's why I giggled when you said that, this gentleman was into drug dealing, because I have, I come from a family who's, residential school survivors, so there's a lot of addictions there, and there's a lot of, different situations there. But some of my cousins, and I won't name them, but they were really awesome business people.
Yeah.
Like amazing business people, but just in the wrong business,
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate.
You know what's crazy? Like,
and it's a good example about this man who changed his life, and now look at him. And I looked at some of my cousins, I said, if you would just switch your direction, I can't imagine what you would do, because you're an awesome business person. The stuff you sell all the time is amazing if it was legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I've thought this like many times, and like even for myself, like I honestly like rather partner with like a hustler like that, because like they're putting in the work. That's what it is. You have to put in the work. You have to go to the gym. You have to lift the weights. You have to watch what you drink. Is it pop or water? You have to watch what you eat and stuff like that. Like you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
And those guys, like I also have cousins too that like sell and stuff like that. So like they put in the work. Like they're hustling. So I rather like, even though they probably don't, like, they probably have a criminal record and stuff like that. Like, I would personally hire them and work with them because I know that they're going to do whatever it freaking takes to put food on the table, to feed their family, to feed their little baby girl, or to feed their kokum or their mushum or whatever, pay that rent for their mother that might be a single mom and maybe she's recently out of a job because something happened, or she's sick, or she's ill. And that's why they kind of like fall down there, because they have to do something quick. They need money quick. But you only know what you know, and you only know what you're taught. So it's just a matter of time before they actually learn about these different industries and these different ways of making money online. There's so many different ways of making money online.
No, yeah. Wow. That's the new generation, right? Is making money online. Like, I know that there's so many different things I've heard of, like people playing these weird games and making money online,
like
and
NFT kind of stuff.
I can't imagine how much. I feel like I'm so far behind. I'm just starting to learn all this stuff. That's why I said this next generation here is our teacher. You know, these are our the ones that are going to teach us older guys what's up. You know,
I'm already thinking of like 3 ways how you can make money online, like just in regards to this Deadly Uncle podcast. So he needs logos, right? Or he already has one now, but like he needed a logo, he needed graphic design. So if you're a graphic designer, you can make money online. Literally, people are emailing you what they want, and maybe hop on a call with them or hop on a Zoom call with them, and then you make whatever they're wanting, right?
Yeah.
And then only that, content creation. So for example, like this video right here, like this podcast that we're doing right now, this can be posted to Spotify.
Yeah, we're gonna do that
as
too.
an audio, or it can be posted to YouTube as like a big long 1 hour, however long this podcast was, right?
Yeah.
And then only that, but you can take the video and you can transcribe it, so now you can make articles and blog posts, post it to Google and stuff like that. And then not only that, but what's taken off is TikTok and Instagram Reels, right?
The short little ones, eh?
Yeah, so
15 seconds or so?
Yeah, 15 second, 30-second little clip. So then now you can also, like, you can go on Fiverr, or you can become this individual yourself and make money online. But Fiverr is kind of like outsourcing to people in third world countries that will literally work for like next to nothing. So like you can send them this hour long podcast. You could say, I want 10 different clips, and I want you to cut it up, and I want you to put captions on it. I want you to put emojis with the captions and stuff like that. And
wow, because that's the part where a lot of people are like, you know, because it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
it is a lot of
work.
work.
Good to know. It's good to know those things.
It is a lot of work.
Shortcuts in there, you know, because to cut up all this is going to take some time.
Yeah.
So if you had somebody that actually did that for you, you'd pay them a price or whatever. But I could see how they make that money.
Yeah. So that's another way you can make money online. Like, so digital designing, editing. You could even do ads. So maybe we want more viewers. So now we're like pushing this more and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you like start selling stuff here on your podcast, or like now you're pushing stuff more. Or that'd be pretty cool, like to start off the podcast. And today, before we begin, we just like to thank our sponsor, Avia Inc., the communication problem solvers. Whether you're a First Nation community or whether you're a tribal council, go to Avia. They'll create you an app, and then you can send your own push notifications with the latest news, events, jobs, documents, forms. Anyways, I have my guest here, Darrell. Just kidding.
Hey, like that, you know? Perfect. There you go. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, man. You know, that's exactly where we got to be. Because most podcasts, they do start off with thanking their sponsors and that type of stuff. So we're going to definitely look into all the stuff that you brought up here today. Yeah. It's, you know, it is a part of the next generation and learning, you know, what is new and what is next. But I did interrupt you. You just got to your first 10-year goal. So tell me a little bit about that. I interrupted you there. We went off on a spiel. So we'll finish today off with you telling us what is your goals for the next 10 years. Okay, what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think it would, because you said I just accomplished one, and then I was just thinking of one that I literally just accomplished. So in Miami, I went to a 10X business bootcamp. Grant's all about 10X. 10X your income, 10X your goals, 10X your life, right? So 10X, just bigger thinking, think big, right? So in 2020, Las Vegas, I went to my first event, 10X Growth Con. 21 years old. I was making like $3,000 a month working security. I knew that I wanted to do better. I knew I wanted to invest. I knew I wanted that financial freedom. I knew I didn't want to always clock in, clock out. I knew that's what I wanted. I just didn't know how I can get there, right? So I go to this conference, and then it kind of gives me like a little clarity, like a little more clarity. Okay, like I need to invest in myself. I need to get this program so I can get more skilled, increase my income and stuff like that. And then from there, 2 years later, like I wasn't tracking it, and I also didn't see like the growth, right? But as I was flying to Miami last Thursday in September, that's when it occurred to me, because the month of August, from all my streams, I had a really good month. Part of it's luck, but a part of it's also skill and work, hard work too. But I cracked over 30K.
Nice.
So it didn't occur to me until like I was flying in the plane. I'm like, I'm going to my second 10X Growth Con, 10X event. My first one, I was making 3K last month of August. What the fuck? I broke 30K.
Wow.
That's 10X. 3 times 10 is 30K.
There you go.
So like literally, like I didn't even realize, and so they did a testimony on me there, and so like now my next 10-year goal, I don't know if it'll take me 10 years, probably 3 to 5 years, but I'm gonna 10x 30K to 300K. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do it, but I didn't even know how the hell I was gonna get from 3K to 30K, so Creator helped me out there, so the universe, Creator helped me out again, and everything happens for a reason. So that's my next 10-year goal, is to increase my income from all my streams, or maybe just one of my streams, 30K a month. And then not only that, but be a full-time trader. So I want to make full-time coin in the foreign exchange market. And foreign exchange market's just currency pairs, and that's what I do. And like literally, I could just be chilling at home, the same like 10 grand, 15 grand, 16 grand, 5 grand, 2 grand that you might be going out to work, clock in, clock out. You could literally just go on your computer screen, look at the charts. Since you put in the time and the effort to learn the skill, now you can just like click buttons, buy, sell, stop loss, take profit, and then you can watch your money like work for you. And some of the individuals that I get mentored by, for example, this one gentleman that just took me for a ride in his Lambo while I was in Miami, his name is Alex. He's 22, so he's a year younger than me, but he's been trading for 5 years. And like he just had his first 100K week. And I remember at the beginning of the year this year, he had his first 100K month. So he's making like 25K, 27K, 28K, and then I think like 24K. But like altogether average 100K for the month. And then this past like 2 weeks, like in some week in September this past month, he had a 100K week. So like it just
and that's all through
the foreign exchange market.
Wow.
And it's just like clicking buttons and stuff, just knowing where price is gonna go.
And you must have to have some money to invest into making that, you know, like once you're like yourself, you build yourself up and start building like a pyramid of cash there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's you can actually practice on a demo account, so it's free money. It's fake money. But it's just like to practice like the skill set and stuff like that. And then what a lot of people do is they just like fund their account with like $100 or $500, but $100, $500 you're not gonna make it, you know, like
because it's not a real investment, right?
Because you're gonna it is a real investment. It's just the psychology.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna see someone like Alex making 100K a day, and then you're gonna be like, well, I only have this $100 account. You know what? I want to make just as much as Alex, and then you'll put the whole $100 out there on the line, and then it won't go your way. Boom! You just lost $100. You just blew your account. So then what are you gonna do? You're gonna save up some money again after you work extra hours, and you're gonna put another $100 or $200. Do you want to be a professional trader or a professional depositor?
Yeah.
So like, but there's another way to go about it. There's this thing called prop firms, and they have challenges. So you pay like $100 or $200 or $500 or $1,000, and each different amount gives you a different size trading account. So like a 10 grand trading account, 50K trading account, 100K trading account, and like 200K trading account. So you pay, so let's do the 10 grand one. So I pay $89 to get the 10K challenge. So what this is at this prop firm is I have to pass 2 challenges, 2 phases. And then when I pass the 2 phases, so maybe I have to reach 10% growth or profit in like 30 days. And then after I do that, then I have to do it like in the next 14 days, I have to reach like 5% profit or whatever the challenge is. Once I pass the challenge, then now the prop firm gives me a $10,000 trading account, Like I can log into it. Like I can't withdraw from it, but I can log into it and like place trades now.
Yeah.
And then I can grow. So now I have $10,000 that I can leverage. So now I can risk more. Now that means I can also profit more. So then,
you don't withdraw the money, but like let's say you make like 50 grand or something. How do you actually put that into your account? Or would you take 25 of it, put it into your account, keep 25 in? What would you do?
That's a good question. So if you grew your account $50,000 profit plus whatever your initial deposit was, like from the prop firm, a lot of prop firms, you have to do your due diligence just to figure out what the percentage is. But this one prop firm that I'm dealing with, shout out to Level Up Society, they do an 85% profit split. So what does that mean? So just for math to be easy, say I have 100K profit on top of my 100K account that I started with from the prop firm. So that 100K that I'm gonna withdraw, that's my profit that I made, I can have a profit split of 85%. So 85,000 can go to me, and then 15,000 will stay with the prop firm.
Okay.
And and I have a few friends like on my social media in my circle, like this one guy, his name is Alec, and like this whole year he had like 3 different payouts. So like he got funded on a 200K account, he passed the challenges, he got funded, and then from there he's just been very slow, very patient, not blowing it, not over trading, over risking, and then he's just been growing it, withdrawing, growing it, withdrawing, growing it, withdrawing. And I don't have the numbers I have it on my phone, but I don't want to find it right now. But I think like one was like 9K withdrawal, 15K withdrawal, 27K withdrawal, and like 12K withdrawal or something, like 4 withdrawals this year from money that wasn't his, it's the prop firm's money. But like now he's putting that money into his own accounts, he's putting that money into his own investments. The money that you get from trading, like you want to like reinvest it like into other things, so you can continue to have money coming in.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
It's a lot.
You know what? Yeah. It's a lot to learn, a lot to talk about. But that's what this is, and you told us where to get a hold of this man, right? Where to watch his videos on YouTube. Check him out there. I just have one more question before we end this here today, and I'm asking all of my guests, all my brothers, my men guests here. You've heard of pond makers, right? Lodge, right? The treatment facility center. What is your opinion on having one of those centers, but not a treatment center, but in the downtown Edmonton core, where we can actually have sweats downtown, where we actually have it protected, just like I guess you would call the churches and the mosques, that all the non-Indigenous places that people have to pray. Yeah. When you look at Indigenous people, we only have treatment centers that really provide those safe spaces. What's your opinion? Do you think that we need, is it time for us as Indigenous people to have in every major city a place for us to have ceremonies, pray, have an indoor kitchen for the winter, have indoor praying, that type of thing? Well, what do you think?
I think that is very needed, because like Palmakers Lodge and like all these different like treatment centers, like those are treatment centers. Why are they treatment centers? Because they're struggling with alcohol or drugs, right? Yeah. So that's why they go to those centers. So there's a lot of people that are here in the city of Edmonton that are trying their best to like walk that like good red road, live a drug and alcohol free life, or they're not like an addict, they're not using and abusing drugs or whatever the case may be, but they still would like to do like sweat lodges and stuff like that. And at these treatment centers, they do have like all these tools and resources, but like you have to be enrolled in that treatment center, right? Yeah. So it's like, what if I'm not going to treatment, but I still want to go to the sweat? So
and what if you can't make it out to the land?
Yeah.
Right? What if you don't have a car?
Yeah, to go.
What if you live downtown and that's your only vice? We don't. The point is that as Indigenous people, we don't have a place to pray inside our cities, right?
Yeah, I think we definitely need to. Yeah, it'll be done. Someone will make it happen, and then they'll like start to follow suit. Like maybe Edmonton will start it, and then all of a sudden Calgary will get one, Vancouver will get one, Winnipeg will get one, Regina will get one, Saskatoon will get one.
Yeah,
and it's just like
let's hope,
because it's just like a safe space for people like you and myself and like our listeners here that like just want to go and sweat, want to go and pray, want to go and hang out and learn and whatever.
We deserve a place to, just like a church, just like every other non-Indigenous minority here in Edmonton has a place.
Yeah.
We need a place.
Yeah.
You know, I think as Indigenous people. So I'm hoping that, you know, by me asking this question to all of my guests, that we can accomplish something or put the idea out that we need these spaces, and also more men's programs and boys programs for our brothers and, you know, even young people as yourselves. Growing up, you know, when I was growing up through your age, we had 0 programs for men at that time. So, and if they were there, we didn't know about them. Like we had Garth in today from Bentero. He throws on 2 men's groups a week, but a lot of people don't know about it, you know. So hopefully this podcast will shed light on those things, you know. So thank you for coming in, brother.
Thank you so much.
It's you're an inspiration. I can't wait to see what you do with the rest of your future here, and it's just great to see you. And one more time, tell the listeners where they can watch your, you know, your involvement and your community work, all those things.
First off, thank you so much for having me part of this podcast. Like for example, my brother, like he's with my children right now at the park because like I have a tight schedule, I have a busy schedule, and I was like Boomer, before I drop you off, can I quickly do this podcast? Because I really wanted to do it. I was just busy at the modeling gig today, but I really wanted to do it. And he's like, do you have to? Then I'm like, I don't have to, I want to.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because like these conversations, they matter, and like when a listener out there is listening, and if we can impact them, inspire them, motivate them, uplift them, even if it's just 1 out of the 100 or 1,000 or 100,000 people that are listening to this, like we did our job, you know. So thank you so much for having me part of here. I'm very thankful and grateful. And where people can find me, so on Facebook and on Instagram and on TikTok, my name is Darrell Brertton Jr. DARRELL BRERTTON JR, and those are on all 3 social medias: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And then you could also go to YouTube and you can type in Indigenous Success. That's my YouTube channel. I currently have like 1,500 subscribers on there.
Oh man, I didn't know that. That's awesome. See, I'm learning today here.
And it's pretty cool because I posted 10 videos back in October 2020, and it was just due to keyword search that I learned from Patrick Mitswing, who's also First Nation, who's also the men's fancy bustle champion dancer, and also an entrepreneur too. So I learned a lot from him, and he specializes because he has this Power Times YouTube channel. It's pretty big. It has, I don't know how many subscribers, but the last time I looked, it had over 27,000 subscribers.
Nice.
So he's been doing it for a while, a few years, and he was teaching me like, hey bro, like you know how you rank first? Like when someone searches up men's health or something like that, men's health podcast, when they search that up on YouTube, when you have the keyword searches set in place and like you put it all out there on Google and all these different blogs and stuff, when they search that up, they'll see your podcast pop up first.
Okay.
Even though you might have like 1 subscriber, even though you might have like 2 views compared to someone else that has 200,000 subscribers or maybe 2 million views, like you'll still rank before them because your keyword search. So that's what I did with those 10 videos, and 1 video blew up. It has over 50 or 60,000 views.
Nice.
And it was literally buying and selling Forex explained for beginners. And then my video ranked first, so like when people search that up, they see my thing first, they click on mine first.
Nice.
And then like it was all organic, and then just I literally went from, at the time I had like 9 subscribers from October 2020, and like just growing, and I haven't even been posting. So I'm gonna get back into that, and so definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, Indigenous Success. Follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Darrell Brertton Jr. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. Shoot me a DM, reach out to me if there's anything else you want to learn about the mind, about mindset, about goal setting, about the different laws that we have here, that creators laws, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, and everything like that. So thank you so much.
Watch out for this guy too. He just did a shoot tonight, so watch out for his face on some magazine very soon. We can't say, but watch out. Have a good one, everyone.
See you guys.
You're listening to the Deadly Uncle Podcast.
a safe space for deadly uncle conversations.